The Omen. Shadows of Destiny. The shadows clung to the village like a shroud, suffocating the light and burying the world in an oppressive darkness. Here, in the forgotten corners of rural Australia, whispers of ancient prophecies and forgotten rituals echoed through the gnarled branches of the ancient gum trees. A thick fog rolled in, obscuring the horizon and swallowing the already desolate landscape. The wind moaned through the trees, a mournful melody that carried with it the weight of countless unquiet souls. In the heart of this cursed land stood a ramshackle house, its windows boarded over, its paint peeling like scabs from the rotting wood. Inside, a single candle flickered, casting long, grotesque shadows that danced on the walls, mocking the terrified inhabitants huddled within. A young woman named Elara paced the creaking floorboards, her eyes wide with a fear she could barely comprehend. The air crackled with an unnatural energy, making her hair stand on end and her heart pound against her ribs like a trapped bird. Her brother, Silas, sat by the dying fire, his face contorted in a grimace of pain. His eyes, once bright and full of life, were now vacant and hollow, reflecting a terror that lay beyond their depths. Elara cried out, her voice echoing in the cavernous emptiness of the house. "Silas, what is happening? Why are we here?" Silas looked up, his lips moving but no sound emerging. His eyes, however, spoke volumes. He was trapped in a prison of his own body, unable to escape the horrors that had taken hold of him. As Elara watched in helpless despair, a dark figure materialized from the shadows in the corner of the room. Tall and gaunt, with features obscured by the darkness, it emanated an aura of pure evil. The figure spoke in a voice that rasped like dry leaves, its words laced with a malevolent glee. "Welcome, children, to your new home. Here, you will learn the true meaning of fear." Elara screamed, the sound swallowed by the oppressive silence of the house. The figure advanced, its outstretched claws shimmering with an unholy light that promised only pain and suffering. Days bled into weeks, each moment marked by a growing sense of dread. Elara watched as Silas succumbed to the darkness, his body twisted into grotesque shapes by an unseen force. Visions plagued her sleep, filled with images of unspeakable horrors and a monstrous entity that lurked just beyond the veil of reality, waiting to claim her soul. The house itself seemed to breathe with malice, the walls whispering secrets in a language only the damned could understand. The shadows grew longer, deeper, reaching out to caress her with their icy touch. One night, the wind howled with a fury that shook the very foundations of the house. Lightning illuminated the room for a fleeting moment, revealing a horrifying sight. Silas, now a mere shell of his former self, stood before Elara, his eyes glowing with an unearthly fire. His lips curled into a grotesque smile, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. In a voice distorted by the darkness, he spoke, each word dripping with venom. "You are mine now, sister. Together, we will usher in a new era of darkness." Elara screamed, but her voice was lost in the howling wind. Tears streamed down her face as she realized the depths of her despair. Elara fought against the encroaching darkness, clinging to the last remnants of her humanity. She sought solace in the flickering candlelight, desperately searching for a way to escape the clutches of this nightmare. In the depths of the house, she discovered a hidden room, its entrance concealed by a tapestry woven with arcane symbols. Inside, she found a dusty book, its pages filled with cryptic warnings and forgotten spells. The book spoke of a ritual, an ancient incantation that could banish the darkness and seal the portal to the abyss from which the entity had emerged. But the price was steep, a sacrifice demanded to appease the malevolent forces. Elara knew what she had to do. With trembling hands, she opened her veins, offering her blood as a tribute to the dark forces. The ritual began, the air crackling with energy as she recited the ancient words. The house shuddered, the shadows twisting and contorting in agony. The figure materialized from the darkness, its form shifting and morphing like a nightmare-given form. The entity lunged at Elara, its claws dripping with venom. But before it could reach her, a blinding light erupted from the book, banishing the shadows and forcing the figure back into the abyss from whence it came. Silence descended upon the house, the aftermath thick with the stench of sulfur and burnt flesh. Silas lay still on the floor, his body no longer animated by the darkness. Elara collapsed, drained by the ordeal. Relief washed over her, mingled with the bitter taste of grief. She had escaped the clutches of evil, but at what cost? As the sun rose, casting its golden light upon the ravaged house, Elara emerged, a survivor but forever changed. The shadows still lingered in her eyes, a constant reminder of the horrors she had witnessed. She wandered the desolate landscape, carrying the weight of her sacrifice and the burden of her brother's fate. The world was a different place now, scarred by the darkness that had touched it. Years passed, and Elara became a beacon of hope in the darkness. She used her knowledge to protect others from the lurking shadows, teaching them the secrets she had learned at such a terrible cost. But the darkness never truly sleeps. Elara knew that one day, it would rise again, and she would be ready to face it, armed with her courage and the memory of the brother she had lost. In the shadows, whispers of Elara's deeds spread like wildfire. They called her the Omen, a protector against the darkness and a symbol of hope. But some whispered of a prophecy, a chilling verse that echoed through the ages: when the Omen rises, the shadows will tremble. But beware, for she who walks between worlds may be the bringer of salvation or the harbinger of doom. Elara lived with the weight of this prophecy, the burden of knowing that her actions could determine the fate of the world. She closed her eyes, the image of her brother's twisted face flashing before her. "Silas," she whispered, "I will not let you down. I will protect them all, even if it costs me my life." The years turned into decades, and Elara grew old. But her spirit remained unbroken, her resolve as strong as ever. The world around her changed, technology advancing at an alarming pace. But the darkness remained, lurking just beyond the veil of reality. Elara knew that it was only a matter of time before it would emerge again, stronger and hungrier than ever before. One day, a strange phenomenon appeared in the sky. A tear in the fabric of reality, a gaping maw leading to the abyss. From it poured an army of monstrous creatures, their forms twisted and corrupted by the darkness. Elara stood tall, her eyes filled with a fierce determination. She knew this was her final battle, the fight for the fate of the world. Raising her hand, she called upon the power she had earned through years of sacrifice. The earth trembled as Elara unleashed a torrent of light, pushing back the darkness and banishing the creatures back into the abyss. The tear in the sky closed, sealing the darkness away once more. But Elara knew this was not the end. The darkness would always return, and she would always be there to fight it. She was the Omen, the protector. For more videos like these, please like, share and subscribe, and please press the bell icon.